reporter on the line from Port Elizabeth. Good afternoon, Iviwe, and welcome to PM News. What's happening in Port Elizabeth right now?
Good afternoon. The situation still remains tense between the community members and police officials. The police are trying to disperse crowds as much as they can, and they do kind of have the situation under control. But every now and then you'll see community members coming together in groups trying to throw stones or petrol bombs at police officers. The police officials are still using rubber bullets to try and disperse crowds. Roads have been blocked off from all entrances and exits to the northern areas. So it will become a bit of a problem now when it hits traffic time, when it's time to go home. Even now, just after 2 o'clock, you'd see that people are trying to bring children that did make it to school, trying to come home, and those that were working, trying to also make their way home. It is a bit violent for all people trying to make their way through the northern areas. So it does still remain a violent area.
Iviwe, has there been any reaction from the education department thus far? We know schools have been closed since last week already.
Yes, schools have been closed since last week. There was no reopening for many schools in the northern areas for the third term. On Tuesday, 23 schools were closed, and then Thursday, the number came up to about 40 schools. But within the northern areas itself, there's about 56 schools now that have been closed. There has been no attendance. You know, parents have closed gates completely. And we did speak to the education spokesperson, Loyiso Polomane, who said that last night the HOD within the district did try to speak to parents and SGBs, and it looked like they were coming to some kind of a resolution. But parents still stand that without all of their demands being met, you know, they're just not willing to back down, and they will not reopen schools. The MEC of Education, though, Mandla Makubule, is said to come through tomorrow morning to come and hold a meeting with the Education Forum from the northern areas, as well as principals, SGBs, all stakeholders that are actually included, to try and stop this violence and problem that's going on. Because the department on their side say, you know, they have tried to avail more posts for teachers, but then again, it is schools and principals that haven't handed in the right documentation on time in order for them to actually employ teachers. But then again, you will remember that the SGBs are not only fighting for teacher shortages, but as well as the condition of the schools, the budget that's allocated to the schools, admin staff and assistant staff, such as your cleaners and those that will clean the gardens, saying that this all hampers the quality of education within the northern areas.
Iviwe Poti, our reporter on the line to us from Port Elizabeth, of course, bringing us up to speed on the protests in the northern suburbs there, calm but tense in those northern areas. And she's telling us that 56 schools have been closed there since last